Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fresh episode on Hubcast, and where we talk to clients, industry leaders, change makers about business, growth, and market trends. With me today, I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Vishal Dixit, who's the head of revenue at Sharjah Media City Freezone, Shums, as most of you probably might know it. And Vishal works very closely with decision makers, industry leaders, financial institutions to drive and build an ecosystem that really works and provides solutions. No nonsense, no red tape. That's what Shams is really into and provides very good solutions. And today the topic that we're going to be talking about is free zones and how they are driving innovation. And I really could not have asked for a better guest than Vishal himself. So welcome, Vishal, and thanks for taking out the time today.
Shakti, thank you very much for having me.
Awesome, fantastic. So let's just quickly dive in. So UAE overall has become a hub for entrepreneurs, not just locally but globally. A lot of entrepreneurs are flocking into the country. How do free zones really contribute to this reputation?
If you talk about free zones in general, free zones make the whole process easier and smoother, 100% ownership. So if you're coming from any country, you want to come here and set up your business, everything is on a digital platform. You can simply go on, log in, and you can get a license there and you can begin the journey of whatever business you want to do. It's a setup where you can do business from anywhere in the world, being inside the country or out of the country, less paperwork, less hassle, cost effective. So people do come to this country to open the businesses, and free zones are very, very helpful.
All right. So you mean to say that, let's say if I'm sitting in the Americas, right, and I want to start a business, open up a business in a free zone, let's say like Shams, do I need to actually come into the country and open it up, or can I also virtually or digitally set up my company?
Absolutely, you can open a business being out of the country. That's not a problem. If you want to set up a license, set up a business here, you don't need to visit the country.
Wow.
Definitely, if you're going to have or you're going to opt a residency of UAE, you should come for certain reasons, medical biometrics, to get your Emirates ID. And then again, you can be out of country and do your business.
And there's no minimum amount of time after getting my visa that I have to be in the country, or I can just be outside and operate from here?
That varies sometimes, and we suggest all our clients to come and visit the country at least once in 6 months. So
Okay.
immigration keeps their track active.
Oh, so you need to be careful about that. All
Yes.
right.
So you should be visiting in 6
Okay.
months once.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
There are also a lot of misconceptions in the market that people have about free zones. They tend to compare, let's say a mainland setup with a free zone. I will just take an example. Like a lot of people think that operating out of a free zone, you really cannot work with businesses that are set up in the mainland, that you're just restricted to trading and dealing with businesses that are in the free zone. Is this a misconception? And if it is, are there other misconceptions like this that people have about free zones?
There are, and you're right. In my opinion, what I see is there are restrictions when it comes to free zones versus mainland. But definitely, the amount of work you can do having a license in free zone is amazing. Example. So the misconception is that you have to have a mainland license to do trading of any commodities. No. If you want to set up your own shop on Sheikh Zayed Road or anywhere in UAE, definitely you have to go for mainland. However, if you just want to do a trading of any commodity, that could be food, beverages, pharmaceutical, anything, you can simply take a free zone license and you can do B2B business. You do not need an office, you do not need a warehouse, you do not need anything. Simply you buy a product from A country and supply it to B country. Also, you can do trading from one country to other country. Not necessarily you have to bring the goods inside UAE. So that's where the simple example that you do not need to have a mainland license necessary.
Okay, so that's the B2B aspect, but can I also sell directly to a consumer holding a free zone license?
Very tricky question, and answer is yes. I'll tell you how.
Okay.
So you take an e-commerce license, which is online selling.
Online selling.
Who is buying at the end of the day? End user.
End user?
So you're selling it to consumer.
Absolutely.
So you can.
You can. It's all right. So one really does not need to have a mainland license to doing trading. So I can just do with a free zone license and I'm good to go.
Yes.
Unless it's a brick and mortar store on a
Yes.
mainland.
Yeah. Unless you need a physical shop or the warehouse or anything, you need mainland license. Other than that, you can simply do with
All
free
right.
zones.
Great. Another question is leading from that to another question. Like another misconception that people have is that business setup is a very tedious process. A lot of paperwork is involved. I mean, what challenges still exist in modernizing business setup processes? I mean, I know a lot of the free zones have gone highly digital, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, and I also see on a day-to-day basis that there are still some challenges. There are some processes that are still very old school. I mean, do you want to touch upon that a little bit?
Yeah. Look, if you talk about the process in today's state, process is very, 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 very easy. As I said at the beginning, you don't have to go anywhere. You need internet, your phone, or laptop. You simply go, search business setup in UAE, online business setup in UAE, go to the website of that particular free zone, and then you'll find your credentials. You just put in your details, and you can choose activity. You can pay. License can be released for you without doing any hassle. All the paperwork, if you talk about, there are very, very few important documents you require. So, of course, you have to have your passport. Yeah, that's number one. You have to have your email address. You have to have your mobile number. So all these basic details which you carry always with you in your phone or anywhere, you simply upload those initial documents and you can get the license. Documents could vary depending on your activity type or business type. That can vary. But that does not mean you won't have document, because everybody has a bank account. Absolutely. Everybody has a house to live, either rent or you own it. These two other documents are required.
Absolutely, you're right.
So the process is smooth. I'll tell you what is the problem. Problem is lack of awareness.
All right. So
we need to educate each other and people and the client. It is not difficult. It is very, very smooth.
that's great. That's the effort that we should really focus on, even when we are talking about. I mean, you see a lot of players in the market, a lot of free zones advertising. It's largely around business setup and the pricing. But maybe this information, especially when you're taking this information to the international markets, when clients who have businesses outside of UAE want to come in, I think that's the kind of communication that should be targeted towards them, because they are the ones who mostly have this misconception that I have to fly into the country and it's going to take a long time to get all the paperwork together. So you're right, absolutely.
See, on that note, what we are planning, if you talk about Sharjah Media City or what we have started to do now. So we have a plan of going around the world and different certain countries. We're going to do some road shows and make people aware of not Sharjah Media City exist. Make them aware of what kind of business and all kind of business you can do in UAE. And there is a platform you can do it wherever you're sitting in the world. So this is what we have started to do now. We go out, we talk to people, we invite them, they should know.
Fantastic. I mean, that's having a global presence. I mean,
yes.
Not just the people who are already here, but outside.
And we're talking about UAE.
You're talking
we're
about
not
UAE.
Talking about
you're promoting
one
UAE
city
as a
or one free
place.
zone. Yeah, we're talking about UAE.
Right. And just moving on to another question. What policies or features make certain free zones stand out globally? I mean, is this free zone concept only limited to the UAE? We know that there are free zones outside of the UAE as well.
Yeah.
I mean, but overall, what differentiates, let's say, for example, Shams, Sharjah Media City, what differentiates Shams from any other international free zones that are trying to operate?
Look, if you look at UAE's free zones and you pay attention to their name, so I'm not going to name any of them except Sharjah Media City.
Right.
It says Media City. So that is a core. Media business activities. That is a core. So if you go for a free zone, which could be tech, IT, publishing. So the main core business activity types are relevant to their name.
Absolutely, yes.
So you can pick and choose. Pretty much all the free zone can provide you various kind of activities or business types. However, you can pick and choose depending on their core business type.
So, for example, Sharjah Media City, the core business type is into media-related activities, but obviously at the same time, you have a vast variety of activities that you offer. It's not just restricted to media, right?
That is true. So we provide media activities. Simultaneously, you have got all trading activities and also services and consultancy activities.
All right.
So it's a combination of huge number.
All right. And can businesses and clients also mix and match different kind of activities when they can?
That's the beauty of Freezone.
Yeah.
So you can mix and match. That's
All
the
right.
beauty of Freezone. You can mix and match. So if you wanna, I'll give you an example to make it easy. If you wanna do trading, you take general trading. You wanna do online trading. You take e-commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Then you wanna do some sort of consultancy. You take management consultancy.
Right.
You combine these 3 activities under one license.
Fantastic. That's good. I mean, then that way I'm sorted. My business end to end, everything is under one license. I don't have to get multiple licenses for each of them. That's actually the beauty of Freezone.
And
right?
Sharjah Media City will give you option of up to 5 activities to combine under one
Fantastic.
license.
Fantastic. Up to 5 activities. And can businesses have multiple shareholders in it? Like, or does it have to be? Is it limited to a certain extent?
There is a limit, but it's up to 49 shareholders you can have on one license with us, which is,
All
I
right.
think, more than
That's
enough.
more than enough. That's more than
Yeah,
enough.
I haven't seen a license like that in my experience.
And is there any sort of paid up capital that you have to show depending on the number of shareholders you have, or can I just start up with a?
No, you do not need to.
Okay.
So
all right.
by default, we do the share value and the share capital of 100,000.
All right.
If you would like to raise up to a certain number, then we would ask you some documents,
Okay.
and we can do that too.
All right, fantastic. Let's move on to the next question. So how do free zones in the UAE foster international business and collaborations and networking opportunities? You definitely did mention about having roadshows
Yep.
in different regions and different countries. Anything outside of that in terms of the marketing efforts that free zones are doing? You can talk about Sharjah Media City, for example. Is it just restricted to UAE? And if it's going international, is it just restricted to events and roadshows? I mean, are there any other avenues or channels that Sharjah Media City takes when it comes to promoting the free zone setup outside of UAE?
So we do some webinars.
All right.
Example, when government has launched tax, corporate tax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to talk about it. We need to know about it. We need to gain some knowledge on it. So we go and meet certified CAs and certified account people, and we talk to them, and then we invite them online to do webinars.
Okay.
Now, what happens when government launches the corporate tax? It goes around the world that UAE has a tax now.
Mm-hmm.
Before zero tax.
Mm-hmm.
Similarity to VAT. 2018, they opened VAT registration. It wasn't there before. So everything new or everything which exists with us within UAE, we must promote and educate people. And the channels, if you talk about, that is digital platform, which is marketing, and then webinars, roadshows, events. Also, the international exhibition happens in this country, which you know.
Right.
World Trade Center and Abu Dhabi, everywhere.
And these webinars and everything, they're not just restricted to your
They're
existing
open.
clients. They're open for anyone to join.
They're open for anyone to join.
Right. So if you're actually targeting the right markets, you will definitely find a good amount of people coming in.
Yes.
And joining these roadshows, because obviously compared UAE, when you compare the corporate tax laws here, they're very low as compared to the other European and American countries. So there's a lot of benefit for a lot of businesses to open up branch offices here. And that's why we actually see a lot of entrepreneurs coming in, businesses who are opening up branches here.
I cannot wait to see bigger multinational companies come here and set up their head offices. Honestly speaking,
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see
We
that.
see a lot of that. I think in the last 15 years, Singapore was one of the countries that has
Yes.
actually taken that. A lot of the headquarters have been set up there. But I think that changes, it's just around the corner. I think we will start seeing a lot of headquarters coming into UAE as well. All right, so we know a lot of tech is now coming to play, a lot of digitalization. Do you see AI playing a role in the future of business support?
Hands down, yes.
Hands down, yes?
Yes, 100%.
I mean, we're seeing a lot of companies, local Dubai-born companies and government holding companies who have already adopted AI when it comes to customer support and processing new applications. I mean, what do you think, which are the key processes that you see where AI can really come into initially?
AI is a vast area to talk about. How I see it is it simplifies and fastens the process.
Mm-hmm.
Less effort you always need an emotional touch, so you will always need people like us and you. And same time, if you use AI in a right manner, then your process becomes faster. And you save on your time of delivering. You save your time of when you attend somebody to give basic hello, hi, how are you doing, and what's your basic question, and let me get back to you. So you save your time on that. So that's just an example. The AI will play and is playing a very vital and good role in this industry or anywhere in the world.
You're right, because I think the first domain where AI really kicks in and has a very important use case that people are trying right now is marketing. Marketing is definitely the first place, because obviously we do a lot of marketing promotions. We try to generate new clients, new leads that come into the system, potential clients who want to set up. There's obviously a lot of qualification process that goes in there. I mean, even we as SetHub, we have actually tried to implement AI into our qualification process, and we're still trying different things, testing the waters. Obviously, you can't get it right the first time. You always try, you fail, but you try again. Eventually, you tend to get it right.
Yeah, AI is, for me, imaginations and creativity. Whatever you think, you can see it. That's what AI is now.
That's right. Okay, so with the introduction of the new visa programs, right? There are a lot of different kind of visas: blue visa, golden visa, freelance visas. How has businesses and business setup in the UAE become more accessible for people? How like a lot of people are kind of combining. They want to set up businesses here. Maybe they can get a golden visa after that. And has it improved the accessibility for someone sitting inside the UAE or outside to setting up a business, and an effect of that being they can eventually get a golden visa as well, or a blue visa?
See, there are certain ways to get golden visas. Yeah, you could be an investor, you could be an artist, you can do the golden visa on the basis of your education. There are certain categories you fall into, you can take the golden visa. And of course, setting up the business and being employed in a company and having a certain amount of salaries, those all are basic requirements to get a golden visa. How does it help? So I'll give you an example of Sharjah Media City started to sell multi-year licenses. What does it save for people? I'm not talking about discounted price or anything here. It saves the hassle of you come renew your license every year. You go through compliance every year. You submit the documents every year. You take the license of 5 years. You sort it for 5 years. Likewise, when it comes to visa, you renew every 2 years.
Right.
You renew. Used to be 3 years before in Freezones. You renew every 2 years. Then you go for medical and you go through the same process again and again. What if upon expiry of the visa, you had an urgent trip, you have to travel? And it happens. I face this on a daily basis. That client wants to renew the visa, but he has to go home. So what he does, instead of renewing, let me just get out and I'll cancel the visa and then I'll do it again.
So then they come back in again, apply for the process again, maybe on a tourist visa.
Exactly. Now you've got 10 years visa.
Yeah, sorted.
Same goes to your family then.
Right.
Your family is on golden visa too, so it's all sorted. And this country, without embassy, without residency, you're locked. Your SIM cards, everything just locks. Your bank accounts.
Bank accounts is the main thing, right?
Yeah.
And any businesses that want to come into the UAE, bank account is what they want to set up. So
yeah,
they have to get a residency along with it. So that's why interesting. So it's not just the cost on multi-year visas, but also a lot of other things that clients can really benefit from. Fantastic. Let's get to the next question. All right. So we've spoken about technology. We've spoken about AI. So let's talk about a little bit more on the SME landscape. So how have Freezones transformed the startup and SME landscape in the recent years?
Okay, see. If anyone wants to do a business, all you have to have an idea in place first. And once you have written down your idea and your business plan, you need a very small fund. That's where we come in the picture again. You need a small fund to begin the business. That fund is an investment for you. But that investment not going to hurt you. Definitely, you're going to learn something out of it. Or you're going to grow your business and yourself. I have my own friends who have set a business, before even I begin to start in this industry, begin to work in this industry. Before that, I've seen my friends who have business in Freezone, and they were not sure about it. They just wanted to do it because that's their hobby. It could be, so I'm talking about a coach who is a fitness trainer. So he wanted to be a freelance coach. He went ahead and he took a visa and license, and he started to train people. And slowly, gradually, he set up his own small website and started to book people online. And today's date, this guy is so busy that he had to raise his price 1 hour per hour with his client. So that's just an example of that. If you begin something, you can bring it to any level. That is up to you.
Right.
But this gives you an opportunity to start with minimal cost and with basic requirements.
Fantastic. Where do you think free zones are headed in the next 5 years when it comes to business setup or any sort of innovation? I know there are a lot of changes that happen with the government laws and regulations.
Yeah.
Every other day we have something new coming from the government. But where do you see the free zone business going to? I mean, we already have like 50 plus free zones in the UAE, right?
Yeah.
It's already a pretty cluttered market, I would say. And so do you see any sort of change or any difference in the kind of services that free zones provide, or any relaxations in the rules for free zones going forward?
There are certain categories where free zones can be helpful. We can talk about designated, non-designated free zone. For example, if you're doing business, sort of certain trading activities within the designated free zone, you don't have to worry about corporate tax. You still have to file it.
You'll have to file it, of course.
But don't have to worry about paying corporate tax.
All right.
There are certain areas where you can be benefited with free zone still. There's no business type you have to open in a free zone where you have to have a sponsor or a local partner. It's not a mandatory requirement anymore. So that also eases the process for you, because it's not about having a partner or local sponsor. It's about sometimes people who haven't lived in this country or spent enough time. They do not know that you can take 100% ownership. Same time, they're worried whether this is true or not. And I always say, what is the biggest advantage is 100% ownership of your business.
All right. And that kind of gets me to the next question. I mean, how are free zones different from mainland? Like the initial misconception that we spoke about.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the other benefits that a free zone holds apart from being able to have 100% ownership and being more digital in terms of setup and renewals that you do? What are the other benefits that let's say a Sharjah Media City has when it comes to mainland setup?
Yeah.
Why should someone go with the free zone?
Yeah, so let's talk about Sharjah Media City in that case. So number one, you can mix and match the activities as we spoke before.
Yes.
That is one of the biggest benefit I see.
Whereas in mainland, you can't do that, right? You can just have one activity on one license. Right?
You're restricted in mainland somehow.
Okay.
And then you can go up to 20 visas under one license with no office requirement. Under the same shared as lease agreement, you can go ahead and take up to 20 visas under one license. You can have up to 4 managers and 4 directors under one license.
All right.
You can have multiple investor or partner visas in Sharjah Media City. So these are the benefits. So I have a case where my friend opened a license in mainland. There are 2 friends, 2 partners, and they both wanted to be signatory in the bank, and there's only one manager on the license. So I did suggest him, if you both want to be signatory in the bank, then you can come to us as well and take a license, and both of you can sign up.
All right.
So you have option of 4 managers, 4 directors,
Interesting.
multiple investor or partner visas. All these are benefits and differences.
Fantastic. And let's say if someone sets up in Sharjah Media City, can they open up a physical office anywhere else in the mainland? Are there some provisions for that?
Okay. So there is a way to it, which is government has allowed a lot of business centers across the UAE, and having a free zone license, there are business centers. You can go and rent an office.
At business centers?
Yes. On free zone license, you can rent an office.
So you cannot have an Ejari for yourself, but you can rent out a business center.
Yeah.
So if I need a proper office rental with an Ejari, then obviously I need a mainland setup.
Then you need mainland setup, yeah.
All right. And obviously there's a restriction in terms of the number of visas I can have on a mainland license, and then that kind of adds on to the amount of office space I need to have as well in the mainland.
So
right?
you answer the question. So you can have number of visas, but then adds up to
How big
space
an
of the
office I need to
office.
get.
Yes.
Whereas with free zones, that's there's no restriction. With a shared desk, you can have
Yeah. Up to 20.
up to 20 visas.
Yeah. Which is, I think, a very high
More
number
than
already. Yeah.
all right. How has the introduction of various funding options and startup accelerators in the UAE enhanced the business setup process? Right, there are a lot of startup accelerators who have started funding people and new businesses. They've been promoting startups to come up with more ideas, and they kind of fund them. And how has this enhanced the business setup process? I mean, is there any relation that you see a rub off from these new startups, new tech startups coming in the UAE to having more applications coming into the free zones? And is there any relationship between them?
See, when you have an idea and you have a tool in your mind that you want to do something, you could find it's very innovative, it's very new idea, and I would like to start with this. And what happens when somebody put funds behind you, that gives you courage and confidence. It shows you that, go ahead, let's do it. So definitely what happens, a lot of people have been thinking about business, but they did not start, whatsoever reason is. But I think when it comes to the factor that somebody can fund you if they like or they love your project, you definitely put everything in it, you go and propose it, you showcase it, and the funding firms or funding companies or funding people, they go ahead and push you, let's do it.
Right.
So that increases the number of business types in the market.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Indirectly, it pushes more business in the market. It pushes towards, go ahead and let's do it.
All right. Of course, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of universities and everyone. These guys are like, doing, like the Shark Tank kind of series.
Yes.
Like they have internally, they tie up with, they bring in a lot of angel investors and people who can fund, and they're really promoting new technology, new innovation coming out of the UAE. So obviously, free zones have clearly they also support that. A lot of free zones, including even SetHub, us as SetHub, we have participated in funding some of the new startups. We have taken part and tied up with startup accelerators.
Nice.
And so that kind of helps and promotes people to start up new businesses, especially the younger generation, the Gen Z,
Yes.
who are coming out. They don't want to sit at a boring desk, 9 to 5
Yeah.
job. They want to do something of their own. And with technology at their hands, with AI coming in there, I mean the avenues are endless.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So from a client's perspective, how easy was it to navigate the legal and regulatory requirements of setting up a business in the UAE when it comes to compliance and AML laws and corporate tax? I mean, is it an easy path to kind of go through all that to be able to set up, or does the government have a lot of restrictions and a lot of checks that are in place?
No, government has put all the rules and regulations, policies in place. If we comply with that, it is the easiest method of doing right compliance, doing right AML. So all you have to do is, so basically, if you talk about, it's about funds. Right source of fund, you need to justify, you need to show your source of wealth or source of funds. That is one important factor we have. And then, how did you get this money, which is again source of it. So if you talk about compliance, the requirements are very, very, very basic. You have to justify the source of wealth. You have to justify your basic house address details, which is again, as I said before, it could be rental, it could be owned by yourself. And if you don't have it, you can give your home country house address proof as well. Not necessarily you have to give within UAE. If you just moved here, you're staying in a hotel, you're setting up company and business and license. Obviously, you're staying in a hotel you do not have yet.
Yeah.
You need Emirates ID again to rent a place.
Absolutely.
So you can give your house address. So government has given a lot of flexibility at the same time. And I do not see or think that there is no document you cannot provide.
All right.
All those documents you carry and you live with them every single day.
Fantastic. So UAE does accept your documents from your home country as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like you said, if anyone is coming new to the country, they don't have any assets here. They don't own anything. They're not able to rent anything. So that's great. I mean, and obviously, free zones need to have the compliance in place, which kind of works together as per the laws of the country as well.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. As a business owner, how do free zones in the UAE help you scale businesses faster and more efficiently?
As a business owner,
how do free zones support business owners and to help you scale? I mean, I know Freezones really don't fund any of the businesses, but is there anything else that you guys kind of support to, scale the businesses further? I know you touched upon the multi-year and having that, leaving the headache of renewals behind and doing multi-year deals. Is there anything else apart from that?
Okay, so let's talk about something different. We are working and we are doing community workshop. So what is community for us is we got active more than 15,000 license in Sharjah Media City. Of course, every license could have a common activity or different activities. But so 15,000 means how many different kind of businesses people are running with us, through us. Yeah. If we start putting them on a platform, so if you are into a trading of any fruits or vegetable or anything, and then I have a free zone license where I have e-commerce license and I am doing drop shipping through Amazon, Noon or whatsoever, and we are on the same platform. You bring it, I post it, I sell it. So I buy from you and then I sell the same product. So this is just an example of that. We as a community, if we start working together, then there's so much of business we can do within those people.
Within the businesses that you have set up.
Yeah.
So it's like a open yellow pages, right? For
Exactly.
all your businesses, all your clients to actually talk to each other and do business with each other.
Yes. So I have a license of marketing consultancy and you have a license of real estate consultancy.
Right.
You need clients and I do generate leads. Now we can work together.
Absolutely.
Same license, same jurisdiction license.
Right.
So this is the role of community. So we're gonna put people together, bring them
Fantastic.
on a platform where they can communicate to each other and share the business and grow together.
Nice. Great. It's like a referral, not a referral platform, but like you mentioned, like a community platform, wherein you can speak to different people, post your things if you have a certain requirement, and if anyone can pick it up and help you with it. So all the clients of, let's say, Sharjah Media City are speaking to each other, and they know who's doing what.
This is how people feel a family or the group.
Yeah.
Right now, we 4 people can be in a room and we don't know. We all have business. We don't know where is your license, under which jurisdiction. If we are on a community page, then we would know each other.
Absolutely.
So this is one of the things we are working on.
So Vishal, we know that Trump has recently increased the tariffs for almost all the countries globally that they are dealing with in terms of imports.
Yeah.
UAE being one of them. I understand that UAE is like one of the lowest. It's only 10% that they have put for UAE. But do businesses who are existing in UAE, who are trading with the US in terms of products or services, is there anything that they should keep in mind or navigate in a certain way to be able to deal with those tariff changes? I mean, how is it going to affect the businesses which are already here, or how does it promote more businesses to set up here?
If you talk about tariff, what Trump has just posted, it varies to different countries, from different countries to different countries. Now, UAE is probably one of the lowest, 10%. That's going to increase the business in UAE. How? So you set up a company in UAE, bring the goods from XYZ country, and since you set up the business here, then you export from here to US. You know your tariff. You collect the money here. Your company is here. So it's going to grow more businesses.
Absolutely. So that means a lot of countries with higher tariffs should set up in the UAE.
Definitely,
They should
yes.
come in. So we'll see maybe a lot of influx coming in from China, who have been bombarded with the high tariffs.
Yeah.
So maybe a lot of Chinese industries come and set up here now.
Yep.
So I think it's more important that UAE gears up for it, and
Yes.
that the free zones and the authorities and the jurisdictions, they're all ready for it.
The future is bright.
Future is bright. Future is bright.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good path to go with. All right, so that kind of brings us to the end of our Hubcast, and hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And thank you, Vishal, once again for coming and taking out the time for us.
No, thank you for having me. I enjoyed.
Fantastic. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.